Good morning. We are resuming the Coalition of Little Rock Neighborhoods meeting of June 14th, 2025. We are welcoming at-large Director Joan Adcock to provide us with a variety of useful updates on various city issues. Welcome, Director Adcock.
Hi there. I'm glad to be here today. I was across the hall at another meeting and saw y'all over here and thought I would come and share a few things with you also. I'm going to get y'all to love your firefighters. These are the people that at a moment's notice, they're going to be there for you. If it's a heart attack, if it's an accident, you're choking. These are the people that they're sitting doing something and the call comes in. I was at Station 15 the other day, which is the one by Baptist Hospital, and I was talking, and there may have been some noise, but I was talking over the noise, and all of a sudden a young man stands and he walks out of the room, and just within a split second I heard a siren go off. And after a few minutes another man did the same thing. Station 15 has more medical calls than they have fire calls. And they was leaving because there had been a call. And lots of times when somebody wants us to go do something, we say, right now I'm busy, I can't go right now, why don't you go ahead and go, I'll go later. They have no excuse like that. They immediately get up and they go to answer the call. And it's time that we answer the call. Now I tell people, and we can blame lots of people for lots of things, but I can tell you today that if I turned in the living quarters of our fire stations to our code officers, several of them would be closed down. As I said, we're not going to point blame. We're going to do what we're supposed to do. We're going to say what's the problem and how can we help. And that's what I'm here to tell you, how we can help. The city board has decided to take on the opportunity to make a difference in our fire station living quarters. We've talked to the mayor, and we are getting $2.5 million out of their reserve account to address some of the structure problems, such as a bay door that doesn't open all the time. They have to stand there and fool with it. When we had the fire at Park Plaza, and you mentioned Park Plaza, I want you to tell me what was the first vehicle that responded.
I don't know. What?
It was a pickup truck with hoses in the back of it. Mm-hmm. Because we was down 5 fire trucks. We have had them, and yesterday I went to a push-in. How many people in this room has ever been to a push-in? Now,
no, ma'am. What's a push-in?
We're going to have one more coming up because Fire Station 15 was canceled this week because of the rain. A push-in. Firefighters go back to when we started firefighting in our city. And a push-in is that whenever they got a new truck and they would put it out in front of the station, they would wash it and make it fire red and everything. And then all the firefighters would get behind it and push it in, and that would show that that was ready for service. So we're having push-ins. We've had 4 now, and the 5th one will be hopefully Monday or Tuesday, and the firefighters will get behind it at Station 15 and they will push it in. Of course, they have a little help from somebody sitting behind the steering wheel.
I was going to say, don't them turn the engine on a little bit?
Just a little bit. But it shows that lots of firefighting stuff is traditional. And so we're going to talk for a few minutes about what are the needs. And I could ask you where you live. Now, first of all, I want you all to remember this gray hair shows that I am older, but some of you have it too. But I know for Kathy, for instance, everything you see from Kathy is typed and everything. I even call it typed. Y'all have other words for it. This is what I do. And the young people don't even study cursive anymore, so I'm outdated. Mm-hmm. But here it is. Mice, rats, bugs, and roaches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fire stations in their living quarters have problems with those. And we've got one that needs air conditioner. We've got 2 that needs the whole air conditioning in the whole system. These places are older. The one we was at yesterday was actually Fire Station 6, which is across the street from their livestock show grounds. And let's just talk about 6 since I was there yesterday. And I'll go to my book and I will tell you.
Excuse me, we have sound issues. Could you be sure that you're speaking real loud into the microphone, Joe?
Okay.
You have a soft voice.
Oh, I'm glad there's something soft about me. I said something yesterday. Let me see, I used the word bossy and I used something else, and they said, oh no, we just say that Director Adcock is persistent.
How tactful.
Yes, this is some of the conditions. I want you to look at the recliner, the chairs and everything. But first I want to tell you a little story. When we had the State of the City addressed by the mayor, when it was over with, this nice older man walks up and wants to know if he can walk me to my car. I looked him over and I thought, okay. So I said, that'd be fine. So we started walking to the car, and he mentioned that he was a friend of Dr. Dean Compirisis. So I thought, okay. I asked his name, and he gave me his name. And so we was talking about, he said, what are you doing nowadays? I said, I'm working with the fire stations. And he said, tell me about it. So I told him about it. And we got to the car, and I stood there for about 30 minutes and talking about it and everything. So I got home, I called Dean and said, I want you to tell me about this man. And so Dean says, you know, if you looked at some of the wealthiest people in the city, he would be one of them. And I said, oh, okay. So this gentleman called me Sunday morning before I went to church, and he said, Saturday evening he called me, and he said, can I go with you in the morning? Are you going to go to one of those fire stations? And I said, yeah, I'm going to go to one of the fire stations in the morning. And he said, can I go with you? And I said, that would be just fine. I'll pick you up at 9 o'clock at Southwest Community Center, and we'll go. Now, some of you have known me for several years. And, Kathy, which fire station do you think I took him to?
I'm not sure. I would hope that at some point you got to the one across 9th Street from MacArthur Park, because that's an old and venerable one, and I suspect sadly neglected.
Which one do you think?
I have no idea.
I have no idea, but I'm sure it was the oldest, most raggedy one, right?
Hey, you know me.
Okay.
Okay?
Good for you.
We went to 22nd and Peyton. I'm sorry, as we was driving through there, he said, do you go over here by yourself? I said, all the time. He said, are you afraid? And I said, no, not in the least bit. I know these people over here, and they are really great. In fact, I go to their neighborhood associations over here and everything. So we go to the fire station and go in, and by the way, that fire station with the fire truck, there's about this much room backing in that bay. And next year or the year after, if they have a new fire truck, we've got a problem because they'll grow every year and they won't be able to go in there. This is one of the oldest ones in Little Rock. And it is in in talking to the firefighters there, one of their main things is health of the people. They get lots of calls for the elderly in that community. And they tell me that they have a dumpster, and that there's a lots of people that go through their dumpster and everything, because there's a lots of poverty in that community. But they talked about how wonderful the people are. The youth comes over there and plays basketball. They have a basketball concrete pad and a basketball goal so that the kids will come over. And they do a lot with the young people in the neighborhood, because it's really an anchor for that neighborhood. So we go in and he visits and everything, and we would have sat down, but there was only 2 chairs, And the picture that I had passing around, that's what the recliners look like. But we stayed an hour and a half with them, and we left, and he was very quiet on the ride back to his car, and he said he would like to go to other ones with me, and I said, that's fine, anytime you have time, call me. So Sunday morning before church, I got a telephone call from him, and he said, before I go to church today, I would like to go and buy some, or get some chairs for them. And he said, could I deliver them? And I said, that would be great. This gentleman delivered the chairs that day to the fire station. He has sent about 120 chairs that are going into the other fire stations. Because that's one thing, the chairs. At home, we don't replace our furniture as quickly as these chairs and stuff wear out. But these have 3 groups that live in this. They change every couple days. In fact, for those of you that don't know, yesterday was the starting of the firefighters going to their new schedule. They was on 2, off 2, and everything. Now they are on, I think it's like 48 hours and off 96. You know, when we think of the hours of a firefighter, how many hours? They're there 2 days. And if I ask you in 2 days, how many hours do you think they work? And every one of us would say probably 16, 8 plus 8 is 16. Now, with firefighters, you go 24 plus 24 plus 24 plus 24. This new schedule will allow them for the first time to go on trips with their families, like a 3-day over a holiday and everything. So they're all excited of the new schedules and everything that we are going to start. So over and over, I've had stories about how people have stepped up and said, let us help with this. And so we have started what we say is Love Your Firefighters. And the money for this does not go into the city budget in any way. It's in a separate account. It's a 501c3 account so that we can make sure that every penny that people donate is going to go to the firefighters.
So how is the check made out?
It's made out to Love Your Firefighters.
Love Your, spelled out like it sounds.
Mm-hmm. Love Your Firefighters. Uh-huh.
And
That
who
is on the
is
back.
getting the check? Where do we hand them in?
You can give it to any of the city directors, or you can just go right here, and you can click on this. Now, this is beyond me, folks.
Oh,
You click-
there's an online giving. Okay.
Yeah, you can click on this, and you can give this way to it. Or you can write your check. Kathy and I are having lunch Monday with a gentleman who's going to give us a nice check for this. And that's what we're hoping, is that we can really make a difference in all of these fire stations. I've got all the pictures here. The fire people have really been great, the staff, in helping us get all of this started.
You've got an inventory of needs.
I've got an inventory of needs. I've even got it down to the teacher or the Sunday school leader or the neighborhood person that says, I just want to bring some children, or even just bring my children and do something. What can I do? Well, several of them need mats at their doors. And the mats, if you go to Ole's, are like $3.99. And so you could take your child shopping for something for the firefighters. I took a clock to a group this week. They needed a clock. So we've tried to have things that are needed, that people, families can do. I've got a couple washers, a couple dryers, a refrigerator, a vent hood, just about anything you can think of that there is a need for. One thing is I've got 3 on my carport. Right now I've got 3 bed railings. One of the problems that showed up is that a lot of them are sleeping on mattresses on the floor. And you think, okay, why are our firefighters on a mattress on the floor? Some of these men are very tall, and the headboards and footboards are these little ones. But we remember when our children was little, we had the twin beds with the little headboard and footboard, and it had the metal route that went this way. Well, some of them are so heavy that they have broke the footboards out from the rods, and so the mattresses are on the floor. We have tried 2 mattresses. I tried 2 bed railings, and the one that they like the best is the one that is adjustable from a twin to a full to a queen, because it's very heavy. And so I've got 3 more of those I'm going to deliver.
You've got the specifications
We are
of
getting,
what's needed, got
we
it?
are getting I can tell you exactly what's needed in your fire station. I can tell you if you have a barbecue grill. Right now, if you call me about station number 17, I could tell you they need a barbecue grill. Blinds, 15, 16, 19, a ceiling fan, a 2, a 10, and 18. Yes, we can be very specific.
How about
what
what's across the street from MacArthur Park?
And what number is that station?
I'm sorry, I have not got a clue. I hope there's a list.
That's station number 2.
I knew it was early.
Station number 1 is the one on Chester Street, which is the headquarters, and 2 is across from MacArthur Park. And we did the push-in there this week. You got a brand new fire truck, and I've got a whole big long list. They needed some of the chairs. They need some of the chairs at their dining table, and they got those this week. Their ceiling fan is old and is damaged. Their outside rug at their door is dirty and old. So you can even
Let me
take
play
a
with
look
that, yeah.
at your list.
I have a question for you. I spoke with Kathy Peck about it days ago when there was a moment of publicity in the news reports about the campaign. And I had just that day been the driver for a friend of mine who had been moving into a new apartment, and being an elder and very frugal with his cash, he wanted just a few things to finish out his furnishings. And he wanted to get good, sturdy, used furniture from Restore, which is the Habitat for Humanity place on South University. And it was an impressive collection of very sturdy furniture of all kinds, including the kitchen dinette set. What he wanted was like a living room end table and a couple of dining chairs, wood chairs that were sturdy and stuff. And we went right in, and he found exactly what he wanted. And he was just thrilled because his several items of purchase cost him $40. Now, I'm guessing that if nothing else, people might buy gift cards to the Restore store and send it in and let them go pick out their own goods from the sturdy category of furniture like you've just been talking about. Do you think that's a good idea, Joan?
Now, somebody's going to say that I paid you to say that. And this is why.
Okay, tell me why.
First of all, my house that I have lived in since I was 19 years old, my husband and I built it. If you walk out of the front of my house, it is the back side of Habitat for Humanity. The man bought the 120 chairs that have rollers on it. But 2 of the fire station did not want rollers. They wanted the regular kitchen dinette type chairs. I went to Habitat. I bought 17 of their chairs. They have brand new backs. All the fabric on them are brand new backs, brand new seats and everything. 2 fire stations have those. It was $10 a piece. I spent $170 on 17 chairs for 2 of the fire stations. The bed railings I'm talking about, that's where they came from. So bed railings are $20 a piece for those of you that want to know. So yes, I have taken my list and I will take it on some other things to look to see what they have, because I'm a person that believes in, let's look at recycling. Let's look at what we have available out here. It doesn't have to be something that is so expensive. In their, what they call their dormitories, some of the men have a little, what we would call like a little bedside table there. Others don't. I can see someone saying, hey, I'm going to go pick up the bedside table and take it to the fire station. Something that they can carry. That is a great place, and that's one thing that, we're looking at with our list and everything. Just, look at.
Good to know. I was just really impressed at the quality of the goods that they had in the place and the range of things, because while furnishing is what we went to, in that part of the building, they had sets of cutlery, they had sets of china plates and cups and spoons, and not all of it, shall we say, the sturdy low-end kind you can drop on the floor and it bounces. So you can have a little bit of a grace note out of the restore stuff. I'm sorry. I've got a new phone. I'm not sure how to handle it. What I'm trying to do is photograph the list.
Also, they get lots of stuff from stores that are closing, that after, they close the store, they will send all the stuff over there that is left over. They also get stuff from manufacturers who are closing out stuff. So it's not all used stuff. Lots of their stuff is brand new. The chairs I bought actually came from the retired teachers building, and they was just like brand new. The cushions and everything had all been redone on them. But we have all kinds of needs. If anyone would like to call me and say, I'm by fire station such and such, and what can we do? I can tell them exactly what we need, and they can take it themselves over and share it with the firefighters. We just need to understand that these people that give so much to us, that right now they just need us to step up and say, hey, you're special. Let us love you. So let's love our firefighters, and let's look at the needs that they have and make sure that their home away from home is as comfortable as we would like for them to be.
Thank you for that presentation. I think you've won some support here today.
I just want to say that the Heights Association 3 or 4 years ago gave several $1,000s to the Heights fire station.
The one on Kavanaugh there, that's historic in appearance.
Thank you, and I'll pay you your $20 for that info. He said that because he wanted me to give an update on that. So the other night, are we still recording?
Yeah.
Okay, so the other night, whenever I was working on my fire stuff and everything, as I do all the time, I was talking to the fire station in the Heights. And the man said, I should not even say this, but he said, we got the money from the Heights and we had all this wonderful stuff done, but we had $17,000 left over, and we never knew what happened to our $17,000. And I said, well, I don't know anything about $17,000, but I will find out. And
We did not give that much time here today.
And he said that, I said, what do y'all want? And he said, well, if we had that money that went someplace, he said we wanted to put a cover over our patio so that we could barbecue in all kinds of weather, plus we could sit outside and it would be cooler and everything. So I called the chief and I said, Chief, $17,000. And he said, you've talked to the Heights. And I said, yeah, where is their $17,000? And he said, it's in an account. And once that their 3 captains agree on how to spend it, I have told them to send it in to us, and that we will make sure that they get it. And I said, okay, so they just needed 3 captains to agree on what they wanted to spend it on. And then he said yes, and so I wrote this out, and I want to read it to you. This is what it looks like. And I called the firefighters back, and I said, okay, this is our agreement. Patio cover, talk to Chief Hubbard, 6/12/2023, 2025, at 4 p.m. Plan, decide what you want. Write out design and details signed by all 3 captains. Get a bid for your design. Send it to Chief Hubbard. Have it built and submit the bill for payment to Chief Hubbard with all the captains signing it. If some are left over, do the same with that money. And the chief signed this and sent it back, and I sent it out to the station. So we've got the $17,000 being done.
Great, and I will tell you where most of that money came from. I think the Heights gave $2,000 or $2,500 for the project that would be refurbishing the interior. But the strikes in the Heights, or whatever it is,
Your annual event for fundraising.
the annual Halloween parade.
Okay.
Or the something ride has raised most of that money with their stuff, but they funnel the money through the Heights Association, I think, to that. So the Heights.
Well, you can give a report back that you saw the contract.
Oh, excellent, very good. I didn't know how much the Fright Night in the Heights ride, or whatever they call it.
Well, there was
That's a tidy sum.
$17,000 left, and now it's going to be spent and
Great.
everything. In so many cases, that's what happens, is that,
Oversight falls through the cracks.
yeah, and they had thought that somebody had took the money, but it still is there, and now it's going to be spent on their cover, so y'all can go over and look at their cover. They also had on here that they needed patio furniture is old and rusted. So I'm hoping that the cover doesn't cost them so much, and they can get the patio furniture.
Okay.
And Restore has some of that. I saw that day.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an outlet. For
So you can tell yours that they might even want to do some of the patio furniture. But this is what we need to do. We need to make sure that we include everyone.
Okay. Well, I'll photograph that list too for that station if you let me have it there. So.
Can you give him the Kavanaugh Heights station page?
Well,
I can't.
I'll just come take a picture of it.
Yeah, you.
And
can,
he'll take a picture
you
like
can
I
take
got a
pictures.
picture.
You can take pictures of both sides of it.
Yeah.
Can't have another minute on another subject.
Before we finish this subject, Mary, are you able to photograph this on the recording in a meaningful, successful way?
I can post it
Or
on,
otherwise, we will
on
post
Facebook.
this
Yeah.
when we get the message out to our members
Or-
about this.
Or if you already have it posted on Facebook, I'll just share it. I'll look. I'll get it out there.
We'll get it out
That
there.
would be a Cappy Pick
Okay.
question.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll get it out
That's
there.
fine.
You
We'll
see,
get it out.
You see all my stuff.
Okay.
We'll get it out there.
Well, and I know because I got a card yesterday from Kathy, and Kathy, this card,
That
they just
card?
sent it to me. So,
Okay, so
I know some of
we're in the
some people are
pipeline.
sending them out. So,
We're in the pipeline. Okay, now your next topic,
My
madam.
next topic is they have rewritten the parking in the yard ordinance. And if they haven't kicked it off yet, I've only got 3 copies because they had to have copies over there. I also have the copies in Spanish. When I asked the city for copies, I asked for 100 in English and 100 in Spanish because I know that one of the big users of parking in the yards are our Latino community.
Good thought.
I know it's hard when you have a neighbor, you can't communicate with them. And so I asked for these to be in English and in Spanish. And I've got these that I would leave. There is a copy machine here if we want the officer, because she made me some copies for over there.
Is this online anywhere?
I don't think so yet.
Okay.
That's just gonna,
I don't have enough outlets to be a good source for that.
well,
Keep
I've
that
got
for
100.
someone
I've got
else.
100.
Okay.
So, but that's all that I stuck in my bag this morning.
Do we know the timeline to adopt the revised parking
It has
beyond?
been adopted. It has been adopted by the board.
Okay, so this
Yes.
is
That is,
new, now in force.
yes.
What is the change? Can you sum up what is different?
No, I have not compared the two.
All right, then
I
we'll
think-
try and
I
do
think- I
that.
think the enforcement on it is the biggest change. I think we changed
I
because
see
I
that
was,
there,
I was in a meeting and it seemed like that, the enforcement was the biggest thing, but I have not compared the two yet.
well, the description of the offense is not changed. What is concerning is that,
I think in recalling, the biggest thing that's changed is that they will get a ticket immediately. And that was not what was in the other one. This one, they will come and give you one warning, and the next time you park in the yard, you will get a ticket. It will be $50. The next ticket is $100, and the next ticket is $150.
they've changed the authority who can grant you your variance. So if there's a hardship unique to the property, they'll let you keep doing that. It had been the planning director, and they have shifted that responsibility to the Board of Adjustment, which of course only meets monthly, so you've got one thing going there. And then it tells you, write a letter. And it says that you must ask for the variance within 30 days of being caught with a citation, essentially. The speed with which you get cited, let's see. They're deleting the current text in its entirety and putting it in new text. Okay, you really are gonna have to compare old and new.
Yeah.
Instead of just the lines through stuff. So, more on that to come. Thank you.
Okay, any questions on this or any other subject?
Robert, you want one of these?
Could I have one?
Oh.
Oh,
I tell you what, hand me this thing. Pass that down to Ms. Brown. What I'll do is I'll scan it and send it to you.
do you have another one of the ones in English?
No,
Okay.
I just had the three.
I'll scan it and send
Send
it.
it to, yeah.
Oh,
I can
I've
take
got
that.
your address, I know how to do that.
Oh, yes, the list for the Heights,
You need to get the Heights,
the list of what they.
firefighters
Okay.
needs of inventory.
Okay.
Does anybody need anything else, from the paperwork that Director Adcock has brought us? Do you have any other comments
Let me go.
about the information that she has brought to us? Do you have any
This is the
questions?
contract, and this is the needs list.
All right, thank you.
Director Adcock, I'm not sure which fire station is ours. I think, and the reason I say that is because when we had a fire in the neighborhood, they were coming from everywhere, and they actually ran into each other and had an accident.
Ooh.
I mean, but we were just so
What
touched.
is your street address?
1104 Arthur. We were just so touched and thankful that they found it so
let's see.
urgent to come.
Does that give you enough of a steer for,
I think it's the one on, across from Baptist Hospital, kind
That's
of.
15.
Okay, or it could be the one on Markham, but like I said, I think they're, more
they
than
both
one.
came together?
Yeah.
Well,
on
assuming those are the
Markham
two correctly identified,
49.
what do you need, Ms. Powell? Do you need a copy of the inventory?
Yeah, I would like to know.
Okay, she can photograph that, right? You got a cell phone?
Do you,
Right, but I was just trying to figure out which one was ours, which one should I?
do you have your phone? Because okay, call this number and hand me your phone.
Oh, we have a way to check that, okay.
but 501.
Okay.
I've got a secret list.
Uh-oh. I'll see.
Be ready to hand me your phone.
Okay, 501
663
663.
9241. What is your address?
1104 Arthur.
36.
Yes, this is Joan Adcock. May I speak to your captain, please? Captain, this is Joan Adcock. I am in a meeting telling people to love their firefighters, and I have a lady that needs to know what fire station is covering her house, so that she'll need to know which fire station she wants to love. And she lives at University Park on Arthur Street. Station 12. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye-bye. Station 12 is located on Cantrell, 7003 Cantrell Road.
Really?
Right here.
That's a long way. Station 12? 7,000.
Wait a minute, was that, no, this is, yeah, that's the number we called. That's the number we called,
Consider that
and he said station 12.
On Cantrell? You know, the one across from Baptist is right up the street. You saw us walking. That's interesting.
Two things right now. It seemed that it was close.
And so it says Ward 3.
Some professional reason for that one. Don't know what that is.
Oak Meadow, I don't even know where that is.
I don't know where Oak Meadow is.
7211. 2211, I don't know where that is.
I called for an ambulance once and they showed up.
I don't think that 3 is
Most
right.
significant.
I think it's
Dial
that.
that
I
again.
stepped on the iPad at the time. And it broke it. It cost me money to get the newspaper.
Gotta keep those out of harm's way.
I was sitting outside waiting.
Let me speak to Captain again. This is Joan. Thank you. Yes, Hello? Okay. Okay, yeah, the lady lives in University Park, which is over on 12th Street.
University.
And I was trying to figure out which fire station is the fire station that covers her house. And she lives on Arthur, Arthur. Arthur, Arthur. Arthur. Okay,
It's
12
off of
12 is
12 and
over on Cantrell.
He may be thinking of the other Arthur.
Okay, you maybe think of another Arthur. We have 2 Arthur. Okay, what's another street in your neighborhood?
12th and University.
It'd be
Shirley Drive.
12th and University?
Shirley Drive is the street.
Across from the leisure center?
Mm-hmm.
Across from the
the
city
street
leisure
from
center.
the leisure center.
Know that they're paying attention to that one.
Uh-huh.
Do we have a leisure center?
That's the stupid.
Station 15. Station 15. Okay, thank you. She wants to know which firefighter she needs to love. Okay, bye-bye. It's Station 15.
All right,
And
that makes more
that's the
sense.
one by Baptist.
That makes
That's the
sense.
one with the
Uh-huh.
mattresses on the floor.
Okay. Can I see the list?
You may see it.
Because they come to our neighborhood all the time, not for fires, but we have a lot of older people too that need help.
Need medical attention, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to say we are adjourning the formal session now. This has been live streamed, and look for the link to our recording on our Facebook page at clrn.ar. Lots of good material here.
Yeah,
Thank you.
15 out for some